Hi 7O. Just want to try again to explain the importance and how I want you to put your answers onto Cambridge. Hopefully after this video it'll be clear to both the students and parents if you're watching why it's so important that you do it in this certain way now that we are learning from home. So in the past in class what we did is we came into Cambridge and we would go up to the top in the black menu to choose the book essentially that we're using. We would then go and choose which chapter we were going to do, and then we would go and choose which section of the chapter that we were going to do. And all that was fine, and that would bring us into a screen which had a bit of this. We would then go up the top to this brown area and choose the exercises tab so that it came up with the questions to do. And this was all fine when we were working at school and doing all the work in our books, and I was able to come around and see how you're going and see the work in your book. But since we've moved to distance learning, obviously that's not possible. I can't see your screens, I can't see what you're doing. It's not practical to take photos of your work and send them through. So I need to be able to see what you're doing and the results that you're getting. So for that to happen, we can't just write answers into the exercises here anymore like we used to and move around the different questions. What we need to do is make sure we're doing it through the tasks. So unfortunately using this screen is just not acceptable anymore. And if that's what you've been using, I need you to stop and I need you to go back possibly and re-enter your results. It shouldn't be a big deal because you've got the answers in your workbook anyway. But let's look at the way I need you to do this. So firstly, you need to go back to your dashboard. And if you don't know how to do that, it's by clicking these 9 dot square up in your top right black bar area. You can always get this screen to pop out if you click on that dashboard icon. And from there, you must click on directed tasks. That's this one here, the circle with the dots in between. The number 4 in that little red 4 in this particular picture indicates there's 4 tasks that still need to be done. The new just indicates that this is a new feature, and it is a new feature that they added not long before we started distance learning. But this is the only place I need you to go now so that you can enter your results straight in. Okay? Do not go through any other area, only through directed tasks. When you choose this area, you'll get this following screen. This shows you all the tasks that have been assigned and how you're going. So the first column is the task names. Then it tells you what section you're up to. Okay, so what the section called, which step in the activity the task or where you're up to is, what type of activity it is, so an exercise or a quiz or something else. And then lastly, you have buttons on the end to either start the task if you haven't begun it at all, or as you can see, there's also resume buttons. So that means you can do some work, you might have to go to your next class, or you might need to go to bed, and then you can come back and you can resume an activity. Okay, you can resume a task. So you don't have to necessarily complete it all in one hit, but it is important that you do it as close to in the time frame as you should in a normal class. So once you either click resume or click start, you'll get a screen like this. So you'll notice it looks a bit different to what you see if you went through the normal exercises. To begin with, up the very top, you have this blue bar with dots on it. Now this indicates the task steps that you need to complete. So the blue section indicates what you have completed or what you're currently completing. The grey section to the right of my arrow is indicating tasks that still need to be done. The filled in blue dot is where you are right now along that task. So this person is in the 3rd step of this task, and the blue unfilled sections are the ones that you have already completed. Now, you have to go through the task step by step, so you can't jump forward. You can go back to a previous blue circle just to have a look at things again, but you can't jump ahead to a grey task. You have to finish off the tasks in sequence. So that's one reason why you might stop and come back and do some more at a later stage. You still do all your work in your workbook, Okay, so I still want to be able to see your working out if I ever ask for it, whether that's remotely or when we get back to school. But it is important that you're still doing all your working out to practice that in your workbook. But you'll come in here to still write your answers in. Okay, so all I need is the answer. I don't need you to try and show working out or anything else here. I just want the answer. Once you've filled in your answers on this page, you need to scroll all the way to the bottom where you will find the submit button. Now, the answers don't submit as you go. So you do have to finish all of your answers for this particular section and press submit for them to be saved to the computer. All right. So what I suggest you do is go through and do all your working out for all the questions that you need to do in your workbook with all your answers there, and then come onto the computer for this particular part and just type your answers in. So you can do that all in a few minutes and press submit, because you don't want to be like halfway through and something happens to your computer, maybe it loses power or whatever else, and you lose that work. Again, it's not the end of the world because the answers would be in your workbook, but it's a pain to have to re-enter them. So I suggest coming in, getting to the exercises when you get to that step, do all the questions in your workbook until you're done, then enter your results in, press submit. Now, why is this so important? Why is it absolutely critical for me that you do this? Well, that's because I can't see your screens, as I've already said. And for me, what I get is the following. When I log in, I can see for the task how you are going. So, for example, over here, these results indicate to me how people are going. Each one of these sets of bars represents a step in the task that's been assigned. The first two blue bars on the left indicate the fact that, first of all, you've logged in, and secondly, that you've had a look at the videos, and also that you've had a look at the chapter, basically. So you've at least loaded up the chapter. I can't tell that you've read and understood it, but at least I can say, yes, you have loaded the chapter and possibly scrolled through it. The next two smaller green bars that maybe don't go all the way, they indicate the questions that you have filled in and how well you have gone. Now, I don't expect those to ever be both to the top, because we don't always do every single question of every single section of the exercises. But I do know what I'm expecting to see. So, for example, in this case, the second, third, and fourth people here, you can see how their bars are basically the same. That's because they've completed all the tasks that were required. The second person got one wrong in the second section and so forth. The person up the top, for example, didn't quite put all their answers in, all right, or didn't do as well because their bars are a bit lower. But I do know what I'm expecting to see, so it's quite easy for me to tell how you're going. The third and fourth green bars, they indicate the results to your quiz that you do. So everybody does 2 sets of 5-question quizzes, and that indicates your result. So again, a full green bar will indicate that you've got all the questions right. A green bar that has less will indicate, again, that you've got some questions wrong, okay, or possibly didn't submit answers. So again, I can look at those and see, okay, how well did you do with the first 5 questions and how well did you do with the second 5 questions. And the last blue bar is just that one where I ask you to basically give yourself a rating. Again, that just gives me an indication that you have completed that rating. It doesn't actually tell me the rating itself, but how you or how you've gone. It just says that you have completed that task. So really, when I come in here, I'm looking for, first of all, have you done stuff? And then I'm looking at those green bars especially to see how you've gone. The other thing I can see straight away is there's 2 people here who have gone onto the task. So they have found the right place. They've gone to the directed task. They've had a look at the chapter, but they haven't completed any of the work. Now, I suspect these 2 people probably went off and used the old way, looked at the exercise, did all the work in their book, and I'm not saying that they haven't worked hard, but they haven't used the directed task, and therefore I cannot see any results. So it's really, really important that these people continue to go through the task. They've obviously got there to start with because they've got the first 2 blue bars, but then they've gone back to the old way of doing it, so I don't get any results. What you also can't see here are the people who have not gone into the task at all. So when I go through all the list, I find names that are not here at all, and those people are people who have not gone into the directed task at all. Again, I'm not suggesting you're not working if you're one of those people. I'm just saying that you haven't been using the current way of doing it through the directed task that I absolutely need you to do. All right, so if your name doesn't appear on this list at all, then you have not been using the directed task, and I cannot see any sort of result. From here, I can go into more detail, so I can click on those and see a bit more detail about how you're going. And if I need to, I can go even further and see the actual results that you're putting in, what you're getting right and what you're getting wrong. And again, this only works if you're using the directed task. I can't see any results or questions that you're filling through the normal exercises, only if you do it through the directed task. And if you really need to, I can go as far as seeing exactly when you log in, how long you spend on each thing, and so forth, and get a whole heap of detail. Wouldn't normally do this unless there's possibly a major issue. But again, all of this only happens if you follow the directed task. Okay? Anything else, it's just as if you were not even part of my class. You could just be anybody, and I don't get to see it. So the moral of the story, the moral of this video, if you like, is you must use directed task. Okay? You are always welcome to look through your workbook in any other way, but as far as doing the work, please always click on directed task, always follow through with directed task. That's the only way I currently get to see your work. If you haven't been doing that, or if the results I've been posting on Schoolbox say that there is no evidence and I'm asking you to resubmit, again, please understand I'm not suggesting you didn't do the work. I'm just saying that you didn't do it through this process and therefore I can't see it. It would be really great if you could go back into the directed task and re-enter just the results. You don't have to redo the work itself because you've got that in your exercise book. I just need you to enter your results. Okay, so if you could please do that as soon as possible, that would be great. If that still doesn't make sense to you, if it's not something that you can understand, please email me as soon as possible so I can do whatever I can to try and help you. But if we don't get everyone using the directed tasks, then I can't honestly know how you're going. And if and when we get back to school, there's going to be a lot of time needing to be spent to try and get caught up and understand what you did over this time. So please, one more time, use the directed tasks. No other part of the book is required. Directed tasks will take you through everything that you need to do so that I can hopefully keep track of where you are and then offer assistance if needed. Thanks again, everybody. And again, please get in contact if you're having problems.